Your chest tightens. Your pulse is hammering in your ears. Carlos Sousa Jr., 17 years old, stood at the edge of a concrete wall on Christmas Day, 2007, and what waited on the other side of that wall was about to change his life forever. Christmas Day, 2007. While most of San Francisco stayed home with family, Carlos Sousa Jr. and his friends Paul Dhaliwal and Colbert Dhaliwal decided to spend the afternoon at the zoo. It seemed like a harmless holiday outing. It would become the worst day of their lives. By late afternoon, the three of them found themselves at Tatiana's enclosure, the Siberian tiger exhibit. The grotto sat below a viewing platform, separated from visitors by a moat and a concrete wall. The zoo believed that wall was tall enough. They were wrong. Tatiana was one of the zoo's most powerful animals, a 350-pound Siberian tiger who had lived at the San Francisco Zoo for 5 years. She was already known to be unpredictable. Just a year earlier, Tatiana had bitten a zookeeper's arm during a feeding. She was not a tame animal. She never had been. Investigators would later conclude that the young men began taunting Tatiana, yelling down into the enclosure, dangling their legs over the railing, possibly throwing objects. What felt like harmless thrill-seeking in the moment was about to become catastrophic. Tatiana heard the noise. She heard the voices, and something primal awakened in her. She began to pace faster, then circle beneath the wall. The tiger knew there was prey above her. Tatiana leapt. She had never done this before. Her enormous body, all 350 pounds of muscle and predatory instinct, rocketed upward. Her front paws cleared the wall. In one moment, she was captive. In the next, she was free. Tatiana landed on the viewing platform where Carlos Sousa Jr., Paul Dhaliwal, and Colbert Dhaliwal stood frozen. In that fraction of a second, there was nowhere to run. There was nowhere to hide. The tiger attacked Paul Dhaliwal first. The young man fought back, trying to push the enormous animal away. But he was human, and she was a Siberian tiger. There was no contest. In that moment, Carlos Sousa Jr. made a choice. He moved toward the tiger. He did not run. He did not hide. He stepped forward to try to help Paul Dhaliwal. It was an act of courage. It was also the last thing he would ever do. Tatiana's massive head turned. Her pale gold eyes locked onto Carlos Sousa Jr. in the split second that followed. The teenage boy understood what was about to happen to him. San Francisco Police Department officers arrived within minutes. They saw Tatiana on the platform, saw Carlos Sousa Jr. on the ground, saw the scale of the disaster. They made the only choice they had left. Carlos Sousa Jr., 17 years old, died at the scene from his injuries. Paul Dhaliwal was also critically injured by Tatiana and required extensive hospitalization. Colbert Dhaliwal survived with injuries. Tatiana, the Siberian tiger, was euthanized by police that same evening. One foolish moment, one act of taunting a captive predator, had ended 3 lives and fractured 2 families forever. California Department of Fish and Game investigators concluded that the enclosure wall was insufficient for a Siberian tiger of Tatiana's size and power. The zoo had failed to upgrade the exhibit despite Tatiana's history of aggression. The taunting had triggered a predictable cascade: a captive apex predator with a low wall, young men seeking thrills, and a fatal moment of miscalculation. Carlos Sousa Jr. was 17 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. He was remembered by his family and friends as a kind, athletic young man who made one terrible choice on one cold Christmas day. His story is a stark reminder: wild animals are not toys. Zoo walls exist for a reason. And taunting a 350-pound predator is not a thrill, it is a death sentence. If you watch this all the way through, please like this video and follow this page for more true stories that matter. Honor Carlos Sousa Jr.'s memory by sharing this story so others learn from this tragedy.